the Stars, episode 28. Today, Alex and I are going to recap Thor and Thor the Dark World. We rewatched them the past weekend. We're going to do our recaps on those films, what we thought about them before, and what we thought about them after this rewatch. We're also going to break down the first episode of What If. Very excited. Marvel Studios' first animation show. And we're also going to talk a little bit. Marvel Studios, yes. Yeah.
No.
The under Feige, yes.
Yeah, no, that doesn't mean it's just Marvel Studios. You know how many recent animated shows they've had?
Those don't count. The people know what I meant. You messed up the oh my. Okay, never mind.
No. You
And
messed it up by
finally,
making a bad point.
and finally, the audience knows what I mean. It's the first thing really supervised by Kevin Feige. That's the only thing that matters.
But is it canon?
I would say yes. But before we get into all of that, we're also going to get into what is Sony and Marvel going to do with the releases coming out this year? Is Venom going to get delayed? Is Shang-Chi going to get delayed? Eternals, and of course, the most anticipated movie maybe in the past few years, Spider-Man: No Way Home.
I'm trying to think of a movie that's held this much anticipation.
Force Awakens.
Oh, Force Awakens for sure, but I
Last
don't even
Jedi.
no. I don't think Last
Yes.
Jedi. No.
For me at least, yeah.
No. I wasn't a Marvel fan at the time, but maybe like Infinity War Endgame.
Infinity War and Endgame probably, yeah.
But even then, this movie, Spider-Man: No Way Home, people are saying just don't release the trailer because people have already hyped this movie up to Kingdom Come. But obviously, they're going to release a trailer because that'd be bad marketing and all that.
Right. Okay. But before we get into the content, Alex and I have some things to share. So we will be moving the podcast to this account on YouTube, Wars in the Stars. I'm going to, if you're watching this on Twitch or YouTube, this is also on TikTok. So Wars in the Stars right here. One subscriber, that's me. We are going to be posting here now.
Why did the icon not change?
We will be uploaded starting next Wednesday after the Bad Batch finale. Alex or I will make a public playlist where you'll see our past podcast on this page, and then from going forward next Wednesday, they'll all be on this page. I'll link it in our TikTok profile. I'll make a TikTok about it. And yes, that's where we're going to be from now on. And in 2 weeks, I am going to start announcing what we're going to do for the next month. So on our Wednesday, August the 25th stream, I will announce our schedule for September. Again, there's some things to iron out. We don't know about Venom, what we're going to do with that yet. But yeah, and we'll be 1 day a week. We'll be 1 day a week. We'll average about 5 streams per month because there'll be, at least one theatrical release we'll cover. So with all that channel update stuff, let's now get into the content. I guess we'll start with Thor, since that's the first thing we watched. We'll start with my co-host here. First, I'm gonna ask, how you doing today, my man?
I am very, 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 very tired. School starts tomorrow, which is a pain in the butt, but I'm excited for what we got going for the show. So yeah, Thor and all that, man. Definitely some intrigue, I'll say that. But before we get into that, Drew, how's your day going?
My day's going really good, man. I'm really excited to jump right into this. Watch What If this morning. And yeah, I'm really excited to talk about all the Marvel stuff happening. So yeah, Alex, go ahead. What were your thoughts on Thor before this rewatch? Yeah, what did you think about this film the prior times you had watched it?
So I had only watched it once for a first watch, and overall, I talked about this when we did our Black Panther review. We have a Google sheet, and on it I have my score for it, and I gave Thor 1 a 23 out of 50, and it was pretty low, and there were a lot. There was a lot wrong with this movie for me before I rewatched it. Um, just how the movie was shot, a lot of the characters, all the stuff on Earth was boring. The comedy wasn't very good as much as I remembered, nor was the action. But I can definitely say everything's improved at least 1 or 2 points for me. So, Drew, I don't know how you felt about it, but that was how I felt about it.
So I had watched this film, I don't know, more recently, probably 2 or 3 times, but I've probably seen it 4 or 5, 6 times, and since it's come out, and I've always regarded it as a pretty average film. It's not, it sure certainly has some good moments and good scenes, but it's not great when you compare it to the rest of the MCU. I think something I'm trying to do on this rewatch is not compare other movies. Just evaluate the movies on its own. How do they stand up on its own? I think Thor's okay. Before this rewatch, I've always regarded it as a lower third MCU film. Uh, Stuff on Asgard, the world building there was pretty good. I've always thought Loki um, was really good. I talked to you about it afterwards, but I actually think this is maybe like a Loki's most underrated film. I think he's really good as the mastermind or the puppet in this film, pulling the strings. Lying, playing tongue in cheek with people, trying to slip his way to the top. So yeah, I've always thought that was good. The Earth stuff didn't care for. Like some of the
Yeah.
characters I forgot about, especially the Dark World that we'll get into later. But yeah, I've always given it like a 6 out of 10, and I think just before we go deep into our thoughts on the rewatch, it stayed the same. So Alex, we'll go to you first. We like to do the good, the mat, and the bad, and we like to start off positive here on this podcast. So what do you think was good about the first Thor movie?
As much as I wasn't a fan of him on my first watch, definitely Thor. I loved his arc coming from not even spoiled brat, just arrogant, cocky, over the top god to a more humble human god. So I love Thor's character arc in this movie a lot. I thought it was really, really good. So, what did you think about his arc?
I really enjoyed his character arc. I thought I've always liked that aspect of the film. It's really well done, and it's more shown, not told. We see uh, the progression of him becoming more, I guess, human or empathetic, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just in the beginning of the film, like rah rah, we're gonna take over the nine realms. I'm gonna be a conqueror rather than a king or a ruler or a protector. Uh, and he loses that title, and he has to learn how to uh, well, become worthy again, of course, but become more empathetic. Uh, and he doesn't have those magical powers, but in the end, the reason he becomes worthy again, obviously, is because of his sacrifice.
Yep.
If that was Thor in the beginning of the film, wouldn't have done that. And I like that progression of Thor's story. The character itself, not the best. Um, I thought the costume was. I want to ask you about this. What do you think about I think there's definitely a distinct jump from these first two Thor movies to Ragnarok and just everything. What do you think about the cost? Because you're big into costumes. What do you think about the
Yeah.
costume designs for the first Thor?
I enjoyed a lot of them. Of course, I okay. So I Thor is always someone until Ragnarok. A lot of his costumes were really bulky. They looked, as weird as it sounds at the time, they looked very CGI with how big they were. I don't know why I felt it, but because I know they were practical costumes. I've seen the behind the scenes and whatnot, but they just looked really big and they looked really clunky. They looked like, how could that be any sort of armor? Can barely like move your arms around. But no, Thor was able to move really comfortably, or Chris Hemsworth was able to. But yeah, I loved it. I believe Loki's costume in this minimally changes from this to the Avengers. Because Loki's someone who almost every movie he's in has a different costume on. Of course, it's going from this movie to Avengers, Thor: The Dark World to Ragnarok to Infinity War to Endgame to the Loki TV series. But yeah, I love the costume design in almost every MCU movie. I think there's only one that I'm just like, it's not too good, and that's Thor: The Dark World, which I'll talk about soon. But yeah, I love costume design in this, especially the props were say so. I would say in this movie, Mjolnir changes every single movie it's in. The how long it is, or the handle changes in almost every single movie it appears in. It's either like this weird like orange, or it's dark brown, or it's light brown. So I enjoyed costume and props from this movie a lot. They were really good. They just looked
Yeah,
weird in some shots.
what I will say is like I like how this movie almost makes Asgard feel real. I remember this film was made in 2011, so
Mm,
this was before all this crazy. I mean, we had good tech, obviously, but it wasn't the crazy tech we have now. Asgard feels very real, and
yeah.
before I get to the Dark World, I hate that fight scene there. Or I shouldn't say hate. I dislike that fight scene because it looks like a video game cut. Um,
What? Which one? Which fight?
the one where you got the ships coming in and Asgard's using their. It looks like a video game like engine.
Hold on. What fight are you talking about from Dark
You
World?
don't remember when the Dark Elves evade Asgard?
Oh, okay. You just said the fight in Dark World. Like, there's multiple fights that happen in that movie.
Yeah, and then I specified where the ships are flying in. Yeah, I
There are
specified
lots of
enough.
ships. Like this ship on Earth, or the ship in Asgard. Like
Ships,
they're good. There
plural.
were. Oh my god! Stop. I get it. I'm smart. No, I'm dumb.
Yeah, but I think I like how the costumes feel real. Like these feel real. Uh, yeah, I enjoyed them. But
Which, by the way,
now to
I will say, Phase One has some of my favorite costumes.
oh, I
Like
totally agree. Iron Man,
it's weird. Okay,
Cap.
I'm like, while we're doing this, I'm getting ready to start 3D printing my Mark 85 suit. I hate how the Mark 85 looks in the movies. When people put the suit together with like 3D printed stuff, it looks better because it's not so fake. It looks really slim to the body. It just like a lot of the Phase 3 suits just don't look good. That goes for Captain Marvel, uh, almost any of the nano suits, which is very ironic considering I'm making one. But yes, Phase 1 I think is just king. Phase two's that's a debate we should have right now. Just real quick, what phase has the best costumes? We'll do a quick thing. Which one? So
I
out
don't
of
pay
the four,
attention to costume much. I as Iron Man, like for me with specifically the character Iron Man, I think his suits like get worse and
yeah,
face like way worse.
they get progressively worse.
Right.
It's
Like
evolving
I like the
backwards.
OG. What is it? The Mark III.
The Mark
Yeah,
III
the
and Mark
Mark
IV.
III. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the first phase.
I'm I love almost all of Phase Four's costumes. They all look really good, but man, it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier had a lot of questionable costumes. Like, I love Sam Wilson as Captain America, but that white cowl that he has on is really bad. I wish it would have just been a complete cowl or no cowl at all. But that's just me. I'm gonna go Phase Four, Phase One, Phase Two, Phase Three. It's just so hard because Phase Three has my favorite Hawkeye, has my favorite Captain America, has my favorite Doctor Strange, the one from Ragnarok, and then it has my favorite Thor. But Phase One has the Mark III, has Thor's Avengers suit. Look, it has Cap's first Avenger costume. all of Loki's costumes. So it has almost every consistent costume. There's only just a few that it's just like they're not very good, and that's because of the time that it was. But Phase 4 and Phase 1, like, so good. All the phases have really good costumes. Like, I guess to get that across. But Phase 1 was really good for the time. Like, again, Iron Man and Thor, really good. And again, Thor, I think from that place was good because it felt real. Asgardian armor felt real, which was weird. But
Yeah, I totally get that. And to go kind of segue into my first good, Loki. To be honest with you, I find Loki's story in this movie just or even more like interesting than Thor's. Loki is the child that is promised. Uh, oh, you got a chance at the throne. I'm not gonna say who. I am, grooming one to be the leader, but uh, I really feel like that. People say that Loki was broken before this film, and he probably was. But this film was 100% the catalyst behind the stuff he does
yes,
from now until Ragnarok and Infinity War. He was probably a devil before this, but like he went full boat. Like after that conversation, I think with Odin, his whole life was a lie. And you have to remember, it's not a human life. It's 1,500 years he was lied to
yeah,
about him, you know, and that Tom is great in that scene with him and I don't Anthony Hopkins
yeah.
plays Odin. Uh, they were great in that scene. Uh, you know, Loki touches the what do they call it?
The God, what is it called? I remember it. I remember what you're talking about. The little. It looks
Uh,
like it looks like it holds the tesseract, but it
right.
doesn't. It's the frost giant's weapon. Hold on.
Yes. Yeah. He holds that thing. Well,
Oh,
first it
it's called the casket.
the casket.
Yeah.
He holds it and he turns to a frost giant, looks at Odin, and he has that passionate scene where it's great. Odin's kind of sugarcoated it, like, "Oh, you're my son," and then he's like, "Tell me," and
Yeah.
it's just fantastic. It's
It,
really well shot. It's really well done,
yes.
and
Odin has one big problem. He always he tells so many half truths. He is like he is like
but
he's like Obi-Wan on mega steroids.
right, but I understand why he is doing it. He wants to protect his son. He
Mm.
he wants to protect Loki.
Oh yeah.
Because if Loki ever found out like he does, he's gonna feel like an outsider. Like he's
Mm.
always oh, this is why this has happened throughout my life.
Yep.
Uh, but the best thing to do is to tell the truth, and that's we even learned in Ragnarok. He doesn't straight up tell Thor he has like a whole nother sibling, uh,
Yeah.
which is crazy. Uh,
It's stupid. Okay, listen. Listen. This man, he he doesn't think it's important to tell his sons, "Hey, by the way, you have a sister and she is a god just like you, but she is the goddess of death."
death.
So, sorry, not sorry. It's just Odin, man. He is what a guy.
He was good in this film,
Yes,
but
the
like
thing is he's so many great scenes, but like fundamentally as a father, he sucks.
right. He made one too many mistakes, but in Thor: The Dark World, he's just an awful human being. Like he is a awful human to Jane.
Yes, it's like I
Like
tell
he's
you
he's
that
like
the
she's
deleted scene of him for the deleted scene of him with Frigga's death would have made you think so much worse about him.
like with Jade. He's like, oh, they're just meant to die. I'm like,
Yeah,
didn't you just not explain to Loki that like we're gods, we're meant to die, or we're not gods? We die.
yeah,
It's like you what? So that's
yeah.
your justification for not helping people? Is like, oh, they live thousands of years less than us. What? That's
Right.
that's insane.
Again,
Um,
he sucks. Like he sucks on such a good level. He's like John Walker. he's a good character. He's written very well, but you're meant to hate him.
I want to see, I want to see like Odin in a Hela prequel where he's like at his full power
Eh,
because
I
he's
wouldn't.
crazy. Like he held back the power of Hela. That's
Oh yeah,
crazy. He's
but
crazy powerful.
in terms of like um wanting to see a movie, I wouldn't want to, but because you know what movie I want right now. You know you know what movie I want right now, and that is a Captain America with or no, I want it as a TV show, but Captain America returning the Infinity Stones.
Okay.
But yeah, another thing like a lot of this stuff, this was early phase one. Like I doubt that Feige and all them knew how big the MCU was going to get. I think me and you need to talk about just how big and how much is connected to the future MCU.
Hmm.
I think that's another huge big for this movie.
Hmm.
You know, I think the biggest one that you and I talked about was Frigga at the beginning during
Hmm.
Thor's coronation when
Right.
Odin calls him his firstborn. Frigga's little look of just like, yeah, that's a lie.
He hesitates too when he says it. It's like
Yes, he takes like a little,
firstborn,
yeah.
and it
So
stops.
I think um I think it's just like you again, as much as this movie probably didn't think that it was going to connect all the way out like it did, this movie was able to connect so far out. I am still blown away. Like again,
Unintentionally.
yes, very unintentionally. This is the Din Djarin of the MCU. But I didn't mean to do this, but it worked out in the end. Again, the worthiness thing, uh, just everything, like that little the thing that the king has when he hits it on the ground and all of Asgard can hear it. Like all of that, just so beautiful. How connected this movie was, and I think this was that first part where it's just like, yes, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe, not just a few Marvel movies.
Right.
So,
Where we
I don't
deal
know.
with earthbound stuff. Like this was the first time they went to the, the outer, they went to the cosmos. So like prior Marvel movies, yeah, sure we had the Hydra stuff where Red Skull was zapped into space, but we didn't really see all that.
Yeah, we didn't. Yeah, we
Uh,
didn't even know where he went. For all we know,
right,
he could have done what Loki did and gone to the Gobi Desert.
right,
uh,
right.
so yeah. Uh, for I do want to get into the first meh. It when I first watched this movie, it was bad, but now it's a meh, and that's everything on Earth. I enjoyed it more in this movie, but there was still a lot of bad stuff. Like, let's be real here.
I just like I can't say it's okay. It's like the thing with like when we have an average Bad Batch episode. I can't say it's bad
Yeah,
because nothing's like terrible on Earth. It's just like
it's. I think the
it's
big
not really
bad on
watchable.
Earth.
It's like meh. It's like
I no.
who cares?
I think the bad stuff on Earth is it's just slow compared to Asgard. Everything on Asgard feels like it's moving like 30 miles an hour. Everything on Earth feels like it's moving at like 5 miles an hour. Like I love Thor. Like to go in quickly, I love Thor's explanation of the nine realms, the Bifrost, all that to Jane. But then the stuff with Shield was really weird. Thor going to get his hammer when he wasn't worthy was really weird. Also to watch, it was kind of just like I love Hawkeye. I'm a Hawkeye stan and all that, but just like I'm gonna shoot him. No, don't shoot him. Okay, I guess I won't then. Which, by the way, I will say, I don't know if his bow. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to nerd out. I don't know if his bow is a recurve bow or a compound bow. But if that man had a compound bow the entire time and didn't use it, he's stupid. But oh well, I'm going off the rails about it. But yeah, just everything on Earth felt really slow until Thor became worthy, and then he left Earth. So, what do you think of stuff on Earth?
I didn't mind the fight against Shield. I like again it establishes like Thor is crazy like strong
Oh yeah,
even against Earth. And I like it when Loki comes down as a projection. Again,
Mm.
I'm going to talk about Loki a lot because I'm a Loki stan, but I love the scene where he tries to lift the hammer. And
Yes,
it's like,
I also like how he was like, I. It's a small detail. Just having, I think Loki was there when Odin made the worthiness charm. Yes, he was. When he even put the worthy charm on Mjolnir and threw it through. Do you know how much he must have been punching the air right there when he was just like, thought it was of the worthy could hold this, and I'm not worthy. Small details, man. It's like poor Odin is just setting himself up for failure with Loki,
right.
because to
Hela was worthy? You can tell me Hela
Hela
had
was
Mjolnir?
worth Hela was worthy. Um, Even after the worthiness charm was put on it, Hela was worthy, but Loki was not. Which I think also is a big detail towards Odin's character. Of to think this guy's not a good guy. Like he's conquered worlds. Like he was a conqueror to many degrees. And he had Hela as his executioner. Like he would have Hela kill people. And to think he would have her do it with Mjolnir. You have to wonder how much blood is on that hammer, or how much blood has been wiped off of it. You have to think she has probably just beaten the shit out of someone with that hammer once. Like it
Yikes.
when we talk about what if, one of my favorite things about this episode, like to quickly go into, dude, Captain Carter was just owning people with the shield. Like she was ruthless with it. She hit one guy when it was the first big long shot, and she was in the sky jumping on the planes. She beat a guy 3 times in the head with the shield. Like the fact that we did not see that man's head come off blows my mind. But again, that's another thing is the Odin sons are, what would you call Hela? Odin daughter? That sounds wrong. Thank God, it's just Hela for now. But they are some ruthless fighters. Like, I forgot what we start how this sprang to this conversation.
Start, but you talked about your first mat. It was
Oh
Earth.
yeah, Earth. So going back to that, but yeah, I don't know. Um, I just feel like everything on Earth was kind of just there. It served purpose, sure, especially for Dark World, but other than that, I was more intrigued in what was going on with Loki on Asgard.
Right. And again, this kind of segues into the romance. It's not great. Uh, it's
better,
not.
better than what I thought, but
There's really only one thing where I feel romantic tension, and you touched on it, the Nine Realms thing, when these
yeah,
two, when it's the whole dialogue. That scene's really good, but like for most of it, I feel like it's just like uh Thor's eye candy for Jane. Like Jane's just
mm,
attracted to him. They have the weird lines, like everyone thinks Thor's crazy, but she's like, I don't think he's crazy. But it's really
right.
weird. It's I get it. It's
It,
so funny to me that Natalie Portman, in the
yeah,
two biggest franchises, they can't get her love story
right.
right.
Her romance sucks, but hey, Love and Thunder could be different. Okay, she's jacked in that movie.
Right. So,
Jacked.
but yeah, I like Selleck, or is it Selleck, right?
Selvig. Eric
Selvig.
Selvig.
I get thinking of an athlete.
Wow.
Eric Selvig. Uh, Scientist dude. Shields in it. Shields horrible.
Yeah.
We know.
Coulson is okay.
Yeah. I like Phil, son of Cole.
Yes.
As Thor
Yes.
says.
Yes, son of Cole. I
Uh,
love him. I love
it's so
Thor in this
funny.
movie. Like I always remembered him in this movie and Dark World as not being funny. Like, okay, the comedy's not very good in this movie, but sometimes when it hits, it's just like,
Another.
yeah, the another, which also got called 2 callbacks in the MCU with with the big guy on Asgard and then with Loki in the TV series. But yeah, just some of the comedy wasn't great, but um yeah, Thor: The Dark World also got some of Thor's comedy really good. So, but
Yeah,
for Thor, you got any more mez you wanna go off on?
I don't have any mess, but I guess it's time to get to the bad or the
Oof.
bad.
Wait. We didn't get to talk about all of it. Do you have any bads that you or goods that you want to finish up on too?
I kind of want to talk a little bit more about Loki. I think Loki in this film is like Loki gets his butt whipped a lot. I think in this film he actually has a decent fight with Thor.
Yes, I thought the fight was really good.
And I also love the dialogue. He's like, I never wanted the throne. I only wanted to be your equal, which is just Cap because
Yeah,
your whole plan was to get the throne. Which, by the
literally.
way, his plan works pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, he finesses Frigga, somehow gets Odin into the Odin sleep. He gets Thor to be banished. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know he was going to be banished, but like he knew. He gets the Frost Giants onto Asgard, manages to uh, freeze Heimdall. Heimdall doesn't know that the Frost Giants come. Frost Giants comes. He kills Laufey to impress his family because he just wants to feel belonged. And then,
Mhm.
yeah, plan falls apart when his older brother comes. But he was actually good in this film. Like Loki, as we get later to the MCU, I love him as a character. But like Thor says, you've become predictable in Ragnarok. You
Yeah.
know,
Which I'll even say, it's like I said, it's hard. I don't know why it's so hard for me to explain. This is Loki's worst movie, but it's still good. Like it is still top notch acting. Like Tom Hiddleston brought it. Which this is gonna sound bad, but I'm so happy he did not get casted as Thor. I'm so happy he was Loki. He just fits it better, honestly.
right. I think he's
And
the best character in this movie, like you were saying.
yeah, I think he's the best in this movie. But I definitely think this is his worst performance. Which
Okay.
it's not bad. It's just if you ranked it next to Dark World, Ragnarok, Avengers, Infinity War, can you count Endgame?
No,
Because like he's not even really in that. He doesn't.
he doesn't. He just has a facial expression and then takes
No.
the Tesseract.
Yeah, even then he mimics Captain America. Yeah,
Yeah,
so he makes some weird face expressions and then dips out. Um, and then the Loki TV series, of course, top
right.
notch. Which
Yeah.
now let's think about that. Let's give us some real rank Loki. So Thor, give a top three because I don't think we have time to go into explanation with it. So
Probably the Loki TV show, especially the latter half.
yep,
Uh, or probably. Ooh. Uh,
you have so many
I know
good.
it's really brief. No, I'll say Ragnarok. Right? Yeah, Ragnarok.
Yep. Okay, we're so far agreeing. We're two for two right now.
Probably Avengers.
The first one.
Yeah.
Wow. I actually
Infinity
disagree.
War. He said 3 minutes. Yeah, sure. He has a good dialogue. Uh, and he becomes a hero at the end. But like Avengers, he's in more of, and he doesn't feel frightened in that film, but he's good. He has some really good back and forth moments with all the Avengers.
I just think I like the Infinity War better. Even though it's
Yeah,
brief. It's brief.
it's
Don't
really
get me
well done
wrong.
though. It's really well done.
Yes. You it feels weird because it's like at that point, at the end of Ragnarok, when he arrives on Asgard, he's full on hero mode. But at this, like, I think what's weird is that he was trying now to act like a villain towards Thanos. Like, oh, I don't care about what you're gonna do to my brother. And then when he's having to see Thor have the thing of the Power Stone might, a little bit of the Power Stone might brought into his head, he's just like, oh, I'm fine. And he's like, okay, please stop. But yeah, I love him in Infinity War, albeit very, 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 very brief. I wish he was in more of it. I wish we could have seen Loki at the end battle for Endgame fighting alongside Thor, but beggars can't be choosers, and for the story, it worked. So that's my three.
So I guess it's to wrap it up. Do you got anything else that's in the meh or bad for Thor before we get into Dark World?
Have we even talked about the bad?
The Frost Giants.
I would call them meh. We're
I
there.
didn't really care for him. I thought
Yeah.
Laufey was, oh, he's Odin or he's Loki's father, real
Yeah.
father. Oh,
It felt like
Loki kills him.
it felt like it felt like an Empire Strikes Back twist gone wrong because
They just didn't explore the characters enough.
yeah, I didn't care who Laufey was. Is he even brought up after this? Well, he's brought up in Loki TV. He's in the Disney Plus show. He's brought up. No, he's not talked about at all after this. The fact that Loki's a frost giant's talked about, but no, Laufey's not even mentioned once. It's because because Loki is called Laufey's son. Which, by the way, the fact that people still call him Laufey's son after Thor Ragnarok, and they're not calling him Odin's son, disrespectful. Looking at you, Renslayer. But for me, bad. The music. None of the music was good in this movie. I did not enjoy any of the music.
Oh, plus that final fight on Earth with
The
the
Destroyer,
destroyer, not
yeah,
good.
wasn't really shot very well. That's the other thing is the cinematography in this movie was really weird.
They're trying to play it up like a small town in New Mexico with like a god just in the middle of it, and it just doesn't feel right.
Yeah,
I
it's
like the scene
also
when he gets his suit back, like his
yes,
costume.
and it like rebuilds around his arm. That was
But
cool.
the
But
destroyer
I'm sorry. Again, I
would
can't
have
watch
rather had Loki gone down
the
or
movie. I'm
something
telling you,
else like that.
half of the movie for a long part of it was just shot like this, just just shot sideways. That's just it would get sometimes so disoriented because you want to. I don't want to watch a movie again like this. I want to watch it straight, so I'm having to like turn with it, like breaking my neck having to turn so much.
They fight in the cloud, like
Yeah, yeah.
weird.
Which is also sad because um, something that I would have liked to see is so in the comics, Thor and Iron Man attach part of the destroyer to themselves. Like Thor attaches the destroyer arm to his, I think, left arm, and then Iron Man makes a whole suit dedicated from the destroyer. So I would have liked to see that happening. I know Shield made a weapon from the destroyer, but I would have liked to see Iron Man make a suit from it. Would have been amazing. But in terms of bads, the stuff that I'm counting as bad is really minuscule. So I'm not gonna even consider it bad. I'll consider it more meh. But other than
Yeah,
that, I'm done. Sorry, dog is going crazy
definitely.
right now.
I guess now it's time for a rating for Thor. I'm gonna give it a 6 out of 10. It's gonna stay at that 6 out of 10 that I gave it before the rewatch. It's just average. It's probably a bottom six MCU film, but yeah. What did you give it out of a 50?
Currently, right now, it's sitting at a 23 out of 50. I'm gonna keep it at a 23 out of 50, and I'm gonna adjust my score because we have adjusted score to a 25 out of 50.
Okay, so it's about
It's
average for you.
yeah. Again, probably same with you. Probably like bottom six MCU. So
And again, it's not an insult if it's bottom six. There's a lot of good MCU. It's just not
yeah.
great.
Again, to just to also to put it in perspective, again, um, this movie is very, 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 very connected to the MCU. Like this movie has, of course, apart from just being a Thor movie, this movie has major purposes. So it's not bad, but it's just not as good as it could be.
All right, now it's time to get into Thor: The Dark World. I guess I'll go first about what I thought before the rewatch. Bad. Um, I was
Right?
regarded it as like probably bottom two, bottom three of the MCU with Iron Man 2 and the Incredible Hulk. Uh, I never thought the characters were that good or intriguing. Uh, and I gave it a 5 or a 5.5 out of 10. Uh, I will say before I get into further details, got better. Uh, Alex, what about you before this rewatch? Oh no, did I lose him? We lost Alex. No. Okay.
Oh, there we
So
are.
there you go. What happened to you?
I don't know. Internet just like died for a second.
Okay. Uh, yeah.
What were you saying
Thoughts
now?
on thoughts on
Which is
Dark World.
I didn't hear a thing you said.
Really,
So it
I
literally, but I heard you say thoughts on Dark World are, and then the internet cut out. So,
okay. So yeah, I gave my thing. Just give your thoughts on Dark World before this rewatch, and yeah.
so my thoughts on Dark World was it was a very bad movie, um, competing with Incredible Hulk for worst MCU movie, but it got better. It's still it's still bad, but it got better. I would say, and I told you this. It's not. It's a movie where if someone told me that they wanted to watch it with them, I wouldn't be like, "Can we watch something else?" Of course, I would rather watch Avengers, Infinity, literally almost any other movie, but I wouldn't. If you were dead set, like you wanted to watch that movie, I wouldn't care. I'd watch it with you. Um, yeah, I thought this movie had a very weak villain, weak set of characters, bad plot, bad comedy, almost everything bad along. But I can say after a rewatch, I enjoyed most of it more. So,
So I want to go first. I have a lot less good in this
oh,
film than the other one.
ooh,
It's not
go
a lot
off.
of good. Still, I think Loki. Again, in my opinion, this is his worst film because it's not a lot of it. But I love when he's commentated in the ship, the escape from Asgard,
Yes.
and I love the end scene where he's obviously Odin now. He's really the king of Asgard. Uh, which, by the way, question for you, since you're a canon junkie on this type of stuff, how did Odin get to Earth?
He banished him. You didn't? Did
Loki
you?
bit
You didn't pay attention to Ragnarok? Doctor Strange.
Loki.
Doctor Strange said that he banished him, and even then, um, Odin
How
said that
did
Odin said that he broke free of the banishment, so he could have gone back to any point. He was
how did
disguised as
that?
Odin.
It's crazy.
Yes, an Odin imposter banished Odin.
Yeah. Huh. Well,
Yep.
I need to watch Ragnarok again then.
Yeah,
But
as you should.
so Loki was good. Uh, he was pretty funny. Uh, I like it when his death. He uses that imploder thingy that sucks everything back in, which
Yeah.
by the way would be a terrible way to die. Uh,
Yes, that would suck.
uh, you know, I like the trust thing with Thor and Loki. You know, illustrated throughout the Thor movies and the Avengers first Avengers film.
Mm,
Can't be trusted. I also like that scene where Frigga's not there; it's just a magical illusion, and I like how they established Frigga in this movie as more of, uh, you know, each child kind of has their parent. Odin is almost like Thor's parent,
yeah.
and Frigga is almost like Loki's parent.
Yep.
And Thor has a moment where he's gonna like crush him on the vessel that they take to. It's called the Dark World, right?
Yes.
The Dark Elves live on. Yes,
Well, it's not called the Dark World. There's a name. It's one of the nine realms, but it's referred to as the Dark World.
right. Thor's about to beat him, and it's like, yeah, Mother wouldn't want us to do that. Like Thor's,
Yeah.
humility or humanity, I should say. But yeah, that's really the only good I have. Do you have any goods in this film?
The costumes. um. Sorry, I'm doing something right now, and I'll show you what I'm doing after we're done with this. But I don't know. it's hard because I think this movie has a lot more meh than good. And I definitely think the one good is the costumes, but Loki, great in this movie as always, always is. But for me, I'm going to say the my one major good will be, of course, Loki again. I'm like trying really hard because um can't think of anything off the top of my
All right.
head. So no, I can't think of anything really good except for Loki and Thor's relationship.
I guess we'll get into the meh stuff now. Uh, this is hard because I have a lot of bad.
Yeah,
The
I
meh
can.
stuff, like the fights on Asgard, I guess were
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
They weren't great or anything. I think Frigga's death is played pretty well, but I don't feel emotionally invested in the character. And I thought Jade was okay in this film. I like the romance part better.
yeah,
And I also like, I guess, Odin being like, "Oh, you have to marry a Asgardian woman," and Loki refers to that too. Like
hmm,
Loki talks about how she's just gonna die anyways. Like you're not gonna be with her as long as you think. Um,
yeah,
but Thor's true love shines through. You see his care for her. So I guess the meh is like that those little scenes with Odin and Loki talking
yeah,
about Jane.
yeah. I must
Jane and
say,
Thor's Jane and Thor's relationship was better in this film.
oh yeah,
And yeah, that's Heimdall was meh. Heimdall's always been meh. I wish they did more with that character, but he was
yeah.
meh.
Well, they'll do more with him in Infinity War and Ragnarok.
Right.
So, but I will say, I wanted a big deep fake of the moment from Avengers Endgame when 2023 Thor summons Mjolnir, because apparently from the timeline, which I don't know if this is right, when the moment that he calls for Mjolnir when he's jumping off to go to Frigga, um, is would be the moment when Thor calls for Mjolnir. So I'd like to see a deep fake of like what do you think would happen in that scenario? Like let me give you a scenario and let me tell you what you think. Captain America worthy, Thor worthy, or 2013 Thor, 2023 Thor, 2012 Thor. All try to pull at one Mjolnir at a time. Who do you think it goes to? Or do you think it would have like a Last Jedi effect where it would just explode?
Breaks. Yeah, I think so. What happened?
Man,
Breaks.
because the thing is when Hela had a hold of it, he couldn't call it. He couldn't summon it. So, hmm, I think it would go
Uh,
to I think it would go to 2023 Thor because I guess he would be considered the most worthy.
I would say it would go to anybody but Steve. It wouldn't go to Steve. It'd go
Really,
to one of the Thors. Yes.
really,
Yeah.
I think he would have like a little bit of a chance.
I think he would too, but he's least likely.
Okay, I say 2023 Thor, or it just destroys itself.
Right.
So yeah, for in terms of meh for me, real quick, kind of everything you said, but Darcy, and just Darcy, by the way, she was funny in this movie. Like same with Selvig, really good in this movie. The original, the
Yes.
Earth, the
I
Earth
I
three
have to
trio
say
were really good.
the Stonehenge
Was amazing.
montage is hilarious.
And
Him
also,
just running around.
yes, the scene when right after Thor returns from the Dark World onto Earth and he puts Mjolnir on a coat hanger, and he's like, "Oh, you didn't bring Loki with you, did you?" And he's like, and Thor's like, "Loki's dead," and he cheers. He's like, "Oh, thank God."
Yeah,
Thor looks at him like, bitch, excuse you," and he's like, "Oh, so sorry."
I love it when he also gets out of like prison or whatever, and he takes his meds, and then
Mm,
there's the whole thing of meds, and he just throws them in the trash.
yeah,
Just funny. He was good in
yeah,
this film. Is
he
this the
was.
last? No, we see him in Age of Ultron, and then do we see him again?
Nope.
Thor: Love and Thunder? I doubt it.
No doubt. He's probably dead, but oh well. Old age, who knows? But yeah, those are the men I have. This movie has a lot of bad.
You ready to get into it?
I'll slaughter this movie with how much bad it has. Do you want me to go first? Because I think me and you have a lot of similar bad points.
Go ahead.
Malekith,
He's
terrible
just
villain.
bland, really
Terrible
bland,
villain.
and his motives are
His motives
I don't
are
get.
I wanna destroy things because I want to.
Darkness. He literally
Darkness.
says darkness like 10 times in this film.
Yeah.
Darkness. No explanation as to why he wants just darkness.
Yep.
At
Literally.
least Thanos, like, he wanted to snap away half the universe.
Yes.
But he had an explanation for it.
He even said, like, even the Endgame version of him when he didn't even do that yet, but he was talking from the technical present self. He was like, he thought life would thrive with 50% of living creatures dead, so people could get double the resources.
Right.
So at least you understood where he was coming from. You even understood like his entire planet died, and he's the last surviving Titan.
Yeah.
But Malekith, I don't understand why he wants everything to be so dark. I don't get it. And then his whole plan sucks. Like, it also feels like they nerfed Heimdall in this movie. Because how could Heimdall not see them? Because like the whole thing is Heimdall says that he can see 10 trillion people in this. He can see anyone in the universe.
Oh, they have invisible ships.
So now
Can't see
they're
'em.
invisible. Yeah, it's just so bad. It's also like how did Heimdall like this brings up so many questions for Infinity War 2. How did Heimdall not see any of I don't are they called the Black Order or the Dark Order?
I think so. One of the two.
Thanos, Maul, trying to remember Lady Proxima. Or no, that's not her name. I'm thinking about someone from Star Wars right now.
Yeah.
What is it? Proxima Midnight, I think her name is. I can't remember. I can't remember the guy who stabs Vision.
It is the Black Order, yeah. Ebony Maw, Corvus.
That's who his name is.
Glavier, Proxima Midnight, Black Dwarf, Supergiant, and Black Swan. That's the team in the comics. I don't know who.
Yeah, those are. I think only two of those don't appear in the MCU. But it's like, how could he not see any of them? Was he just blind? Maybe he was like Thor and his powers only worked on Asgard. Which also.
Well, he summons the Rainbow Bridge on the ship.
Oh yeah, never mind then. Fuck. Damn it.
I don't get it.
I don't under MCU power scaling changes from movie to movie.
Oh, plus, oh my god, I touched on it a little bit. I do not like the fight with the ships flying into Asgard. It feels Star Wars-ish to me, but like not good.
Are you talking about when Thor
they're invading Asgard?
Oh, when they invade. Okay. I was gonna say because there's two parts to that fight. It's when they're trying to escape Asgard, and then when
when Dark Elves are invaded as it feels just feels like super Star Warsy, but like in a bad way. Like this, I do not care at all.
Yeah,
and it looks bad. It actually looks like a video game, like engineered thing that they would show like in a cutscene. It does not look good at all.
Right. Yeah. For bad, Ian, who is Darcy's assistant.
I didn't even remember his name until you just said it.
I thought he was someone else until I like put it together. Jane's date at the beginning. Someone else. I can't remember their name. They all suck in this movie. Like hardcore ass in this movie. Like some of the worst writing in the MCU possible. They didn't serve.
Look, Darcy and Ian are kissing. Why do I care? Malekith's literally about to destroy the realms of the universe. Like, why?
And then, because that's it. Their characters were solely brought into the movie for comedy, and their comedy wasn't good. The comedy in this movie was almost atrocious. There were some good things, like Thor's thing of I accept your surrender at the beginning against Korg species was really cool. It was really funny. And then again, we got Darcy and Ian kissing. Cool. Again, like you said, Malekith is about to destroy the Nine Realms. Who cares? There is no built chemistry between them. I don't know who
No.
they are. But yeah, comedy and those two characters suck. They were just there for pure comedy, and their comedy was not funny. So
Correct. I want to also add another character. I mean, not another character, but the explanation for the ether is really odd.
really, really
It's
odd.
way too fast, and I'm like, what is? It's like the one time in a movie I'm like, what is happening right now?
Yes, it
Like
is.
it cuts to Jane like get in the ether, and then Malekith's ships start to like ignite. I'm like,
Mhm.
what is happening? Like
Yeah,
I feel like we skipped like these movies could have benefited for being 15, 20 minutes longer, maybe.
this movie specifically should have been like 20 minutes longer. Like,
Yeah,
so much explanation was missing on the ether. Like, why did, like, the thing is in the explanation they were like, well, some of these things formed into stones. So okay, that's a brief explanation to the Infinity Stone history, which gets retconned in Infinity War, but who cares? Which, by the way, Infinity War specifically feels like this movie just didn't exist because the way that it's explained, the Infinity Stone history is when the Big Bang happened, it sent six elemental crystals across the cosmos again: space, time, soul, mind, power, and reality. Okay, so how did five out of six of them learn how to harness into a stone, but one of them turned into jello? How does that make any sense?
and then my question would be, could you theoretically like turn one of the stones into another
Yes.
form, like liquid?
Yeah. Yeah. Are we really trying to make that assumption that we could just turn the power stone into some sludge and just throw it on worlds and all of a sudden the world blows up?
Or gas, like
Yeah, who's to say that the Infinity Stones are in two stages of matter? Who's to say they can't turn into a gas? Like, you know, again, they tried to explain the Infinity Stones, but they did a really bad job at it. It's like it's like if I explained the Jedi or the Sith to you, but I was using really bad terms to describe them. Like instead of saying um, I'm trying to like not describe the every time I describe the Jedi, I sound like I'm making them to sound like they're war criminals. But you know, uh,
kidnappers of
no,
children
that yeah,
that
it's
take
like if I explain the Jedi as monks going around kidnapping children to join their cult to fight bad guys. It's like that's not a good explanation of what a Jedi is. A Jedi is someone who protects the universe, protects the galaxy at large from the dark side and the Sith, and any darkness rising. They help people. But if you explain it really bad, like monks in brown robes go and take little children from their families because they can move things with their mind
and glow and stick.
and glowing and a glow stick as their weapon. That's a really bad explanation if they just glossed over it. But this movie, again, it leaves so many questions
How
up
do they
that
turn into a stone? I'm
yeah,
so confused on
why
that.
did they turn into a stone of all things? And the other thing that I bring up with the whole gas or liquid thing is then theoretically, if someone say injected themselves with I don't, the space stone, for example, could they then theoretically use the stone and its powers?
Right. They
Could
just
they
teleport anywhere.
go? Yeah, like technically, are we saying that Jane at that point was technically a reality warper because
Which
she had
is something I wish they explored a little bit more.
yeah. I wish what would have been the explanation is, and I hope they bring this into Thor: Love and Thunder, is when she had the Reality Stone sucked in her blood, or well, it was injected in her blood, she could rewrite reality. And when the ether got sucked out of her, that's how she develops her cancer, like she does in the comics, and that makes her worthy in some sense. Um, so I don't know. It's like this movie glosses over and it raises so many questions to me about the Infinity Stones. Again, it's for the first time after watching all of the Marvel movies. I'm still to this day genuinely confused by something. I'm
Yeah.
so confused by how the Reality Stone works, except for how we see it in Infinity War.
Yeah, totally. I guess my closing thoughts on Dark World. I don't have much to say about this film. I'm gonna give it. It got a little better, or it still stayed the same in my rankings, but it got a little better. Malekith is in more of the movie than I thought. Again, if you have a lackluster villain who really does nothing, has weird motives, I can't
Mm-hmm.
relate to, not great. Thor, not fantastic in this film. Again, Thor's character, as I've said many times, takes a big shift after Age of Ultron. Uh, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10. Uh, Alex, what did you give it on your out of 50 scale?
I gave plot a 1, characters a 5, villains a 0, comedy a 5, action a 6. It landed an 18 out of 50. Wait, hold on. Yes, an 18 out of 50 compared to Thor that got a 25 out of 50
Okay.
or 23 out of 50.
Yeah.
Or wait, no, I adjusted that score. Hold on. Yeah. So Thor 1 got a 25 and Thor the Dark World got an 18 for adjusting for enjoyment and whatnot.
Okay.
So again,
So,
it's again,
oh, go
I'm
ahead.
still going for a loop right now about the reality about the ether in this movie. It's the worst plot device I think in Star Wars, MCU, any of that. I can't think of a worse plot device.
Yeah, it was
Like
not very well
I
explained.
shit on the whole Ochi's dagger and Sith Wayfinder, but at least it made sense on how they worked, like and why they were significant. With the ether,
Right.
I'm still confused. What did it
Yeah.
do? Because technically, it served Jane as a weapon because she couldn't be touched by anyone who she was on guard by. Like Thor was able to touch her, but nobody else could. God
Right.
damn it, this movie.
Yeah, it's very good. And then the end fight is weird.
Yeah, because then they're like teleporting all over the place, and then Thor can fly. Thor can fly, and he's like, "I'll just take the train station." Made no
Yeah.
sense. Made
Well,
this much sense.
yeah. So now it's time to get into something I actually really enjoyed today. I wasn't, I was excited, but I wasn't like extremely excited like I was for Loki. I really enjoyed the first episode of What If. I gave it an 8 out of 10. Um, I might want to bump that up a little, but it was a solid 8 for the first story of What If. I think it does. My first overall thoughts are I think it really did a good job of twisting the story of First Avenger a little bit and how I like how the episode literally starts. I hope that they do this for everything with the event that changed how the story
Yes,
played
and
out.
I hope they explain what the change was.
Right. Peggy stayed in the room.
Yeah, which is such a small change, but it's literally like how the TVA explained it. It's such a small thing. You being late to work can create a nexus event.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's literally like this Peggy deciding to stay in the room led to a complete different change of events.
Right.
Crazy. Crazy.
Alex, I want to get your overall thoughts before we get into more of the details of the episode. What were your just overall
Okay,
thoughts
so
on
I
it?
want to say I forgot I forgot it came out today.
Okay.
And so I figured it out because Straw Hat Goofy on TikTok made a review. I was like, "Oh my god, that came out today!" I
Right.
forgot it, so I ran to go get it. I ran to go watch it, which um, I was surprised because when it said, "What if Peggy Carter became the first Avenger or Captain
Mm,
Carter became the first Avenger?" I was like, I thought it was just gonna be what if she became Captain America. I was like, oh, well, yeah, technically she would become the first Avenger at that point.
mm,
So which also that movie, it's a lie of a title name because Iron Man was approached about it first. Movies lying to us, but
mm.
I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot. I love the animation style. Really, really
Mm.
liked it.
Fits the show. It fits what it's
Yes.
doing. Yeah.
But although you know what animation style would have fit it even better, Clone Wars.
That would have been crazy.
But yeah, it's weird because I talked about this earlier with when we were talking about Mjolnir, dude. Peggy Carter is so aggressive with that shield. I'm telling you, no joke. She hit that pilot 3 times in the face with the shield. How that guy's brain is not all over the place is
Oh
beyond
yeah,
me. She must
she
have
hits
just
people
loved
hard.
tapping him.
Yeah,
Like, oh
yeah.
my god, it was so. Also, she's. Oh my god, I get it. Like, it's technically a non-canonical show, and they can go as wild as they want with the animation and all that. Oh my god, she was throwing that shield like it weighed 0 pounds. She was grabbing it
Crazy.
by with 2 fingers, throwing it, picking it up. Like not even Steve could do that.
Right.
Like,
It's definitely an over exaggeration.
oh yeah, but it still was so enjoyable to watch.
Oh, totally, totally.
Also, again,
I
you know how I am about costumes. I love the Captain Carter costume.
Captain Britain. I loved it.
She's not Captain Britain. She's
Yeah,
Captain
she is.
Carter. She's Captain Carter.
She's
She's not
Captain
Captain.
Carter, but
No, she's not even
she's a
inspired by
cap.
Captain Britain. He was actually name dropped in Endgame. His real name was name dropped in Endgame when Steve is in the office and he sees Peggy. She talks about not. She doesn't refer to him as Captain Britain, but refers to his real name. Fun facts.
It is Captain Carter, but you know, I Captain Britain. You know.
No,
Oh
because
my God,
she
I have
fights
to
for
say,
the U.S. So no.
no, she fights for a branch of the Allies. Oh, it's the scientific. I can't remember what they call it. Is it the SRS?
Yes. No. SSR. SSR.
SSR. It's the thing before Shield. So
Yeah.
yeah,
It's the precursor to Shield.
right. Oh my God. I thought Sebastian Stan was hilarious. I
Dude,
don't.
his voice did not meet what like the emotional thing was. Like just
Who
think,
ordered the calamari? I'm like, oh my
right,
God. I'm
or not
like,
even that when Peggy saves him from the falling
yeah,
off the train, he throws off. It's like you almost ripped my arm off. It's just like
no, or the one when she opens the gate to rescue him, and she's like, "Are you the Queen of England?" And I'm like, "What is happening right now?" And I'm like, Sebastian Stan must have loved doing this. I thought it was hilarious,
it was
and
so
like,
he's so good as comedic purpose.
and Haley Atwell, fantastic as
Yes.
Peggy Carter, Captain Carter. I
She's
like
getting
the
so
little.
much hate on TikTok, by the way, right now.
Okay, so I
So
want
much
to
hate.
address those two complaints. One is that it was too fast paced. I'm like, I didn't feel
Well,
that.
it was 30 minutes, and you're trying to basically restart, or you're trying to recap a movie quickly. Like, yeah, who cares? And First Adventure's such a slow movie. Who cares?
Right. You're not we don't need to focus on every little character moment. We just need to highlight her big
Yeah.
stuff. That's not what the show's attention is. And I actually felt every 30 minutes, but in a good
Yes.
way.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And I didn't have any like issues. Like people
Yeah.
didn't like the animation style. That thing happens all the time.
Yes. Every single animated show, Clone Wars got this, Rebels got this. Every animated show, people will tell you, I don't like how the animation. Okay, sure. Sure you do. You'll come back around on it.
I mean, honestly, I think Captain Carter is one of my favorite Phase 4 characters.
Yeah, she was so good. I
I
love
and
her.
she's in more of What If, so I
Yes, she's coming back for season 2, and she'll she's
well, she's in
rumored.
this season too, I think. I
Yeah,
think she's in more this season, yeah.
yeah. Then not to mention she's also rumored to be in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Okay, we got to talk about this because there's also another character that's rumored to be in Multiverse of Madness, or a type of creature. That might have been Schumer Gorath.
Might have been. Might have
It
been.
because he is or it that creature is rumored to be the main villain of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and Schumer Gorath is about ready to take over the entire world. You know, he's an interdimensional being, I believe, that just like conquers whole dimensions like crazy, like just like grows. Like I guess it doesn't stop growing. Insane. Do you think Captain Carter will be in Multiverse of Madness?
No, but it'd be cool.
I think so. I think Haley Atwell will come back. It'd be a small thing, but
Maybe.
yes,
Maybe if Doctor Strange like peers into the multiverse, he might see her.
that's what I think's gonna happen. Is it's gonna be very much like the Guardians 2 scene where they fly, where Yandu's with uh Rocket and their eyes get big and their mouths get big when they're
Yeah, okay.
flying. I think it's gonna be like something like that, where
Or no,
Strange goes,
I'm thinking even more of when Thor meets the Grand Master, and he goes into
"Oh,
that little weird
okay,
sequence when he's on the chair, or even the when Doctor Strange first talks to the Ancient One, and
okay."
she like asks him who are you in this vast multiverse? Which, by the way, there's this whole thing that the Ancient One's going to be in this movie, and she's been working with Kang the Conqueror. Stop your theories. Stop.
I don't
It's a
think
bad.
that's.
It's a bad theory. Why would
Uh,
why would she train someone to be more powerful than her and Kang the Conqueror?
why would she even talk to
Yeah, yeah, who knows?
Kane the Conqueror? What?
Because maybe she needs someone to help take down other Kang variants. Who knows?
I.
Who knows?
That's
Okay.
that's no.
Which also, by the way, I forgot to ask you this when we were talking about Loki. How old do you think Kang is? The Kang that we see in the show, or He Who Remains.
He might be like millions of years old.
But do you think that? I think he might be like 40 years old. But because he can
Well,
just
he
keep
just
going
doesn't
back in
age.
time,
He's outside of time.
yeah, I think he might be like 40 years old, but he just stopped aging.
Yeah,
But
he's
if
like
we
hundreds of thousands of years old, maybe.
Yeah, could you imagine if when you go out of space and time and you enter space and time again, you just quickly age up to where you should be?
Which, by the way, is something interesting I found from this episode is Peggy is still killing like that Shumer Gorath type of creature
Hmm.
70 years later. She went to a place
Yeah.
that probably didn't have time this like she could have been fighting it for let's say like 30 minutes, like she thought, but actually it was 70 years.
Right.
Which again, I think is also really cool that they brought her back in time, but in a new, unique way. Some people said the show didn't go crazy enough, but I think it was unique enough from the first Avenger that it didn't lose me.
Hmm.
Like I didn't want something crazy like that. You know, I wasn't engaged in the story. I'm like, oh, this is cool. A little twist on the first Avenger. Like, Red Skull doesn't have the Tesseract for Aslan. Zola's captured earlier. Bucky. Oh my God, they did that on purpose to us. Bucky fallen.
Hmm. Real anxiety happened when he fell off that train.
Steve blowing up. I'm like, is Steve going to become the Winter Soldier? That would be
That would
interesting.
be amazing. I wish that would have happened instead of having him live. But
Which, by the way, did you like Steve? Did you like Steve in this?
it was weird because I could tell he wasn't voiced by Chris Evans, but he sounded so much like him.
He felt like
He
Steve
felt
Rogers.
yes. He was great in this. Great in this. Just amazing.
The
Love
first
him.
Iron Man suit was great. Howard was
Yeah,
good.
also love the take on it. How like with the Iron Man suits, it would have a holographic display. With the Hydra Stomper, it had like physical glass up to
Yeah.
Steve's
Oh, I
face.
love the name too. Hydra Stomper. That was
Yeah,
so good.
I wish
Uh,
I wish it would have been Iron Man. Like Howard came up with the name Iron Man in this
yeah.
universe.
Jarvis.
Yeah, like oh, that would have been great.
Yeah. I thought it was really good. I was like, oh, if they go the route that he dies, that would be interesting. And then I'm like, oh, Winter Soldier route, that'd be really interesting. But I don't mind the route that he aged instead of Peggy. Uh
Yeah.
because I think in the end of What If, Peggy's gonna go back. And I know it's not a whole story what if is, but what I think is gonna happen is we're gonna get like 4 or 5 episodes of just craziness, and then like the last three are gonna be kind of about the characters we've already seen coming together. Uh,
Mm.
Something like that. Uh, but yeah, I might be a Peggy Carter stan. I I might be a simp for Peggy Carter too, but I thought it was great. It's a great little twist. Um, And a lot's changed in this universe. Uh, Hydra not as big as a problem. Winter
Yeah,
Soldier doesn't happen.
yeah.
Howard doesn't die. Uh, by well, he eventually dies, but he doesn't die by Bucky. By Bucky, I don't
Hmm.
think I don't think Tony becomes Iron Man in this
No,
universe.
I don't think he will either. I think he's just Anthony Stark now.
Right.
So I enjoyed What If. I would give this first episode probably an 8 to 8.5 out of 10. So I enjoyed it.
Next week is very excited and very sad at the same time. It's T'Challa's episode as Star Lord. Obviously,
Mm.
Chadwick's last time, uh, at least playing the character of T'Challa. Very sad, but very excited to see what they do. I think they could go crazy with that story. And then 2 weeks from now, Loki on Earth. Uh, I think if he won in the first Avengers movie or something like that, that's gonna be really exciting. I'm I want to see Captain Carter in live action. I
Oh
think
yeah,
I think they didn't do enough with the Peggy Carter character, and it's a way maybe that they could and if if these characters are successful, like they've pushed her really hard,
yes.
Captain Carter.
Like, can we talk about that whole controversy about her being switched to the profile picture of the Captain America account on Twitter?
I'm gonna say this. I think they've pushed harder for her as Captain Carter than they did for Sam as the Captain
Yeah,
America,
and
which is concerning.
let's also look at it like this. Like, this is not a retcon of Sam being Captain America. He's
No,
still
no.
Captain America. But we also have to remember this was not racially motivated. This was just done for PR, just for marketing. For What If they're gonna change it back when this is over. Um, I do think it's stupid how they just didn't change the Peggy account or whatever, or the What If account to it. I just think they shouldn't have, because again, it's like you said, she's technically Captain Britain. Technically, she's not. It's not her name, but come on, she's Captain Britain. She had it's her shield is the British flag. Like, come on now.
Right.
So that to me, I just like I don't. I think it was just a dumb account choice because they didn't do it to any other account. So I don't
I
know.
don't know. But like
It's
my
stupid.
take on it is like they've pushed her so hard that like I feel like she's gonna be in live action at some point.
Yeah. I don't know.
Because when it to be honest, when is Sam Wilson's next live action appearance?
They didn't even have it. He's not going to be in Doctor Strange. He's not going to be in Spider Man. Not in Thor. Not in the Marvels. Not in Hawkeye. Not in Miss Marvel. Like,
Captain America 4? That's rumor. It
yeah,
hasn't been confirmed
well,
yet.
yeah, how? They've already confirmed that they're working on it.
Well, the work Marvel hasn't said it's gonna happen, but it hasn't been confirmed by the studio. Like I don't I don't think he's a big character for them. That sucks. I like the character of Captain America itself, but I also really love Anthony
You don't think
Mackie.
so? I mean, he had a whole show dedicated to him becoming Captain America. I don't know what the point would be if he didn't.
I don't see evidence that they're gonna do a lot of Earthbound stuff. That's crazy.
Well, I mean, what are you gonna do after Multiverse of Madness?
I mean, it seems like they're pushing the cosmos more. Like whatever they're doing out there with the multiverse, it's gonna be way more interesting than what they're doing on Earth. Unless they have a Norman Osborn as like the main bad guy,
Maybe.
then yeah. But again, I like Sam Wilson. I love Anthony Mackie. I thought he was great. It's just like not
And,
as interesting in what's gonna happen with the multiverse
I
and stuff
wish
like that.
I wish Falcon and the Winter Soldier was longer than 6 episodes. We actually then got to see a whole season or a whole half of the season dedicated to him as Captain America.
Yeah, we see it in like one episode.
Because I wish we would have gotten to see the true trials and tribulations as Cap. Would have been.
Which will probably happen in Cap 4.
Yeah.
Like I gonna bet money we probably see Chris Evans as an old man. Like he has to go to Chris for advice. Like
Like, oh, do you think we're gonna get that kind of like how Thor and Thor Ragnarok would see glimpses of Odin when he needed help, but
Well, I think Steve's
Sam.
still alive.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying Sam would actually go
Yeah,
to Steve for help.
yeah,
Like, you know what I would really like to see?
and I
Sam
think
take.
Bucky maybe dies, but
I don't know. I don't know. There's not much for Bucky to do in the MCU anymore.
like he's kind of
Maybe,
overcome the Winter Soldier thing, and
yeah. I mean, he becomes Captain America in the comics, but
that's that is interesting to me.
yeah, it's like they already made an interesting new Captain America with Sam Wilson.
Which
So
I think has a fantastic story that,
yeah,
you know, the Isaiah Bradley thing. I think that was great. That was really well done, really emotional. That hit. It worked. But besides that, like Cap 4 would be about him taking on the mantle, feeling the pressure, going to Steve, asking Steve would do. So I feel like it would be about. But like with Captain Carter, they're gonna do a lot of stuff with her. What if? I'm a Haley Atwell stan maybe, but I just want to see more of that character. I thought she's one of my favorite Phase 4 characters so far.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, love her.
But now it's time. I want to talk a little bit with you, Alex, because I've been thinking about it past week or so. What is going to happen with movies like Shang-Chi, Venom, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home? COVID's ramping up. They get the Delta variant, had a lot of cases in the past month across the country.
Yeah.
Uh, I am wondering. So I'll start with my take. I think Shang-Chi comes out on time.
Yes,
I think it's a theatrical release only.
it's gonna be pushing it if it is.
I
I think
think
it's
it's.
gonna I think it's gonna flop in the box office.
I agree because Suicide Squad did pretty bad.
Yeah, like that's being regarded as one of the best DCEU films, and it flopped.
I've heard some people have regarded it as the best comic book movie.
Right, which I disagree with. I don't think there's anything that could top the Avengers or Endgame.
I saw a little bit of it. I enjoyed some of it. I thought King Shark was good, but it's about. I don't really care for those characters. Like, cool.
Yeah,
No, not the best. Uh, but I feel like that for Marvel and Shang-Chi is just going to be a guinea pig,
yeah,
which sucks
yeah.
because there was just an article I was reading. The movie is 2 hours and 12 minutes.
Hmm.
So you get about 2 hours worth of content. Uh, I'm really excited. I don't know much about the character. The Mandarin's going to be in it. The Dragon's going to be cool. The fighting tournament.
Yeah.
That's all really cool stuff I'm looking forward to.
Which
It's
let
going to
me
suck.
before we get into it. Okay. So you have to wonder how Shang-Chi ties into the rest of the MCU. Okay. Do you think Miss Valentina Allegra de Fontaine appears in this movie?
All right. We were going to do a preview. So we're going to leave that. We'll leave that.
No.
But
I think we just short answer. Does she appear in this movie?
maybe.
I think she will. And I think this is where we'll see her either recruit Abomination or uh, his sister, Shang-Chi's sister.
Okay.
But that's just me.
That's interesting. Yeah, maybe.
We'll talk a little after about it.
Yeah, I think Marvel's going to use this movie unfortunately as a guinea pig. It's going to
Yeah.
suck, and I don't think it's going to do great in the box office with the pandy. Uh,
I think is the Delta only going bad in the US?
nah, everywhere.
I was gonna say if it's okay if it's going well everywhere else in the world, might do pretty good.
It's going to do well in probably Asian. Well, I don't know what it's like over there.
Yeah,
Like what how bad it is over there. It's first Asian superhero
yeah,
like film, like
like
main character as
yeah, like there. It sucks because, um, we just over here in Ohio, we just got the mask mandate put in Monday. So, and knowing, and I'm gonna be honest with you, for school and whatnot, they're probably gonna close school down this year. They're probably gonna close it
maybe.
down again. Um, so yeah, it's getting crazy over here. It sucks. I honestly just think they should just do a Disney Plus release again. But I think this time they should go with the actors and tell them that they're gonna do it.
Yeah, which again, I don't know how you rework that contract in a month.
Which, by the way, you also we have to know when we look at the Scarlett Johansson lawsuit, she only sued them because of how much money she lost. Like she didn't. I don't think she cared that it was released on Disney Plus, but she did definitely care that she lost 50 million plus dollars, and
Definitely,
is
definitely.
and she's still losing money because people are still buying it on Premiere Access. I did.
And pirated in the movie and like,
Yeah.
and again, for me personally, I find more value in me going to the movie theater than
Yes. I
paying
don't want
30
to.
bucks.
Okay, I bought it on Premiere Access after I watched the movie, so I could rewatch it to rate it better. But no, seeing it for the first time at home sucks. That must suck because I want to go. Like for Black Widow, I wanted to make sure I went. Like I wanted to go.
I want to be in a theater with a surround sound system. Unless I had a home theater, I would probably
Yeah,
stay home, but I don't.
but not
I
not
want to be
even
in the
that. I just
surround
want I
sound.
want the theater experience. I want the
Yes,
I want to be there with
absolutely.
people. Like
Absolutely.
I want to be there when the post credit scene starts, so I can make fun
Abs-
of more people who are getting up and leaving before the post credit scene. I'm telling you, I remember seeing a video on TikTok right when Black Widow started releasing, of this guy screaming at people to stay for the post credit scene, and people just
yeah.
sort of look at him like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?"
Yeah, but I think this is going to be theatrical release only. I don't think it's going to get delayed. Do you think the same?
I don't think Shang-Chi will. I think everything else will.
You think everything else would get delayed?
I think Eternals will get delayed. I think Spider-Man's gonna get delayed.
Venom?
Venom's probably gonna get delayed as well. But Multiverse of Madness is, I think, when they're gonna get back on track.
So here's my thing. So Venom changed their date. They don't even have a date for
Yeah,
release anymore. It
not,
was
not even a
September
release date, I
24th.
think.
Sony was supposed to go back to work, studio itself, Sony the company, September 7th. They delayed it by a month. So I could see Venom being in October now.
Yeah,
Just waiting.
which
But if it doesn't get
also
but if it doesn't get better by then, what do you do if you're Sony and
let
Marvel
me
with like
let
Eternals and
me
stuff? Like
let me also ask you this, okay? So as we know, in 2022, Sony and Disney will be doing a merger for all the Sony stuff to now go on Disney Plus. Do you think they could move that forward to 2021 if the pandemic is getting worse? Or
okay.
if the pandemic gets worse?
There's a couple of things. I don't know the legal contract. I don't know if they could put Spider-Man No Way Home on Disney Plus.
If you want my honest truth, they're probably gonna have to. Because here's the thing.
Okay.
Let me tell you this: if they delay Spider-Man: No Way Home to 2022 before Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, which by the way is happening in March, they're gonna lose tons of money from it. They're going to. So I think,
It
and
isn't a big release spot. December.
that is in December, right next to Christmas, or right next to it. Also coming right off of Black Friday. That's when merch sales are going to be the highest. That's when toy sales, all of that is going to be at its highest. And if they move Spider-Man No Way Home, the movie's going to flop. Let's be real.
So I don't think it will flop, but
It will not
we'll
make
make
it will
us.
not make its money back.
So Multiverse of Madness comes out March 25th of 2022. You think you delay Spider-Man by what? 2 months? Delay it to like February?
Even then, if you do it 2 months, it's going to be too close to Multiverse of Madness. That'll be way too much to take in.
Oh, I feel like No Way Home and Doctor Strange 2 was kind of like Infinity War and Endgame in that sense. Like
No, not even close. This is multiverse that we're talking about. This is Spider-Man from the Raimi trilogy, from the Amazing Spider-Man trilogy. Who knows what else we'll be seeing in this movie? But then
right.
you're taking a complete multiverse movie that could have Captain Carter. It has every character ever known.
Ghost
Rumored.
Rider, Daredevil, like
Yes, like it has everyone rumored to be in this movie. Like two, that's way too close. That'd be like if they released Infinity War and Endgame a month apart from each other. That'd be
Yeah.
way too much. That'd be way too quick. You wouldn't even have time to like mentally recover.
Well, I know it's not the same, but like Eternals comes out the 11th of November, and No Way Home is a month and a
Yeah.
half.
Even then, those are two separate
Right. I
stories.
get that. Yeah, but
Like that's what I'm saying is that if we do the Infinity War and Endgame comparison, those segue literally right into each other.
yeah.
Which like even then, I think the only case where that makes the most sense that you should have probably released them closer is The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi. Because I'm telling you now, as a Last Jedi fan, it was not worth the wait for 2 years. I wanted it the day after I saw The Force Awakens.
But yeah, I don't know what they're in a weird spot. I'm gonna have to wait and see Shang-Chi how it does in the box. And again, I hate
Yep.
that we have to use Shang-Chi as a guinea pig,
Yeah,
but
it sucks
it
because
might have to be.
they're the movie's gonna flop, dude, and I'm gonna feel so bad about it. I'm gonna feel
No, but
terrible.
and the other problem is like, well, Marvel is doing a good job marketing it. It's been on my television. It's been on ESPN. I've seen it on my computer. I get ads for it for YouTube now.
Seeing it on TikTok.
The discourse around this film is very quiet.
Nobody's talking about it
Nobody.
because
That sucks.
people are more excited for a trailer than they are a movie.
I'm not. I literally almost know what happens in this film. I can literally almost tell you what happens. I haven't seen like I haven't read anything, but like just by TV shirt, like TV, I mean not TV,
Shirt,
t-shirts where I
yeah,
literally see Spider-Man with the magic with
yeah,
like the
he's gonna
magic thing.
become Sorcerer Spidey. Like that's a huge plot point that because they have not released a trailer, the Funko Pops, the figures, the shirts,
T-shirts.
they're going to get released before we see a teaser for this movie. Those are
There is
coming out in a few weeks.
there was literally a Doctor Strange uh t-shirt that has like the prism. Like a prism like
Yes.
we see in Doctor Strange with the what do they call the mirror dimension,
Yeah,
right?
the
Is it the
mirror
mirror dimension?
dimension.
Yeah. I'm like we literally know what happens in this movie
Yes.
now. Like what?
Again, we're getting to a point where a trailer is more hyped up than a movie.
And that trailer's gonna underwhelm you because it's gonna
Yes.
try to not show a lot.
Yes, because people are they're this is my whole thing. Spider-Man is going to flop in fan reviews.
It's
I
destined
know
to fail.
it's the Last Jedi right now.
Yes, it is.
It's
It has the
destined
last day of
it
oh my god.
it's coming off of such a huge first movie with Spider-Man Far From Home ending with Peter's identity being revealed. Then not to mention Loki setting up the multiverse.
The Toby and Andrew rumors. Oh my god, Toby Maguire and
Willem
Andrew Garfield.
Dafoe, Jamie Foxx,
Sinister Six? The
Sinister
Sinister
Six,
Six?
Doctor Strange, Emma Stone. Like you have all these people that just like, dude, you're set up. You're set up to not like this movie.
It's
Like
very
right?
much the Last Jedi in the sense we thought Luke was gonna come out and be like this sorcerer god thing that like we've
Yes,
never seen before.
and because
Destined to
people,
fail.
yeah, because
I've
people
tamed
didn't.
my expectations. Like
Yes,
I believe
I'm,
they're gonna be in the movie. I just
yes,
don't know what role.
yeah, and if they're not in the movie, I'm not gonna care. I'm not gonna care.
Right.
Personally, I'm in a predicament. I didn't grow up with the Raimi trilogy. I didn't grow up with the Amazing Spider-Man, so I
You
don't
grew
care.
up
I'm
with
not
Tom.
attached to.
You
Yeah,
grew up with Tom. Yeah.
yeah. I'm not attached to those two, so I don't give a shit if they're not in the movie or not. I would like them to
Yeah.
be, so it gives me incentive to go back and watch those movies more. But oh
So
well,
yeah. I think my final thing. Venom gets delayed till October.
yeah, almost definitely.
I think Eternals is gonna stay, but maybe it is a Disney Plus
I think that's a definite Disney Plus release, and I think honestly,
and
it,
theater too.
yeah, I was gonna say, but if the Delta gets worse in September, it's going to be a Disney Plus Premier Access exclusive because they're going to close theaters down if it gets worse. They're already
Hmm.
thinking about closing down some places here in Ohio.
Hmm.
So
Very interesting. And then what about No Way Home? It might be too early to tell.
too early to tell if it gets worse in September and October. I'm gonna have to say they're gonna have to delay it, or they're gonna have to put it on Disney Plus, or and push it back into theaters. and for 2022. I'm just gonna
Sony
say
is, by the way,
they're in
Sony
a
is banking on that film making a lot of money.
yes, they are. So which is why I think they're gonna have to delay it. Which, by the way, if they delay No Way Home, they have to delay Multiverse of Madness because that's the tie-in film. Because again,
They could do something.
it wouldn't
They
make
could.
sense to it would be like seeing it'd be like seeing the Star Wars original trilogy and starting with episode 6 and then having to go back to episode 4
Okay.
to
Yeah.
get context. Like that would be stupid. It's like modern day that makes no sense.
I
For
could
the Star
see.
Wars trilogies, it made sense to go back because Darth Vader
Right.
wasn't explored that much in the first
Uh huh.
movie. So to go back and do his entire backstory for 1 to 3 MTV show, that made sense.
Yeah.
But to get that for a multiverse movie for Marvel, no, makes this much sense. Eggshell,
Yeah.
0.
I don't know. I'm. I don't think that movie can go on Disney Plus. Uh.
Well,
I,
again, we know the movie, we know it's going on Disney Plus eventually, and
right.
by the end of 2022, it will be on Disney Plus. But we don't know what's going to happen with that movie. I think
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think they should release a trailer for the movie. If you want my honest, but they have to because of marketing and whatnot. They have to.
Well, my thing is they're not going to release a trailer anytime soon until they know what's happening. I don't even
Yeah.
think they know what's happening right now.
And I think honestly, right now, to please fans, they should just give a teaser, not even a full length
They
trailer.
haven't given a teaser, dude. Not
They
even a
should
teaser trailer.
they should just get they should even if it's a quick 30-second teaser trailer, like something from this movie.
Everyone just needs to shut up about the trailer.
Yes, please, please.
It's a
I'm
very
telling you,
like
this
it's
movie.
very it's very Mando season 2. Where's the Mando trailer? Where's the
Yeah.
Mando trailer?
And then when the Mando trailer came out, people were excited because something in it, but then people stopped talking about it almost a week later. Like I'm just telling you, like we said, this movie is destined to fail. It is going to fail.
It's got Last Jedi written all over it.
Yes, it is. It is right now. It has big T, an L, and a J on it. Last Jedi. And then people are gonna say John Watts sucks at story. He sucks at directing. He sucks
Oh,
at
and they're gonna get pissed that he's directing Fantastic Four.
yes, yes.
Very
Then
much like how people got pissed that Ryan's directing his own trilogy, which, by the way, I don't think it's happening. But
yeah, I don't think it's
besides the
happening
point,
anymore. Like he's talking about it like it is, but
dude, they announced it in 2017, like January of 20, before his movie even came out. It is August 11th of 2021. It's been almost 5 years.
yeah,
Nothing. Not happening.
yeah.
Sorry,
I don't know.
TLJ stands, but
Yeah.
not happening.
Stay mad. Stay mad.
Stay mad. Like I don't know. I'm worried. I'm worried.
I am too. We are, and the thing is, I think the biggest problem, Marvel's releasing too much content right now. If we
I heard
talked
some
about this,
people saying that.
if Miss Marvel is being released this year, which is they are still planning on a 2021 release, we're gonna have content till the end of the year. Not to mention
Well,
Book of Boba Fett on top of it.
I think Miss Marvel's now beginning of 2022 because
Yeah,
there's no way. Yeah,
they might have to. They said
it
that they're
is.
still
It's probably gonna
planning.
be.
They said they're still planning a 2021 release.
I don't know how they're gonna do that unless they do 2 shows a week on top of Book of
Well, no,
Boba, which
because you can fit Miss Marvel a week or no 2 weeks the finale before Hawkeye.
right, but
So then you would
that
have
show
content.
that
You would
show
have content
ended
basically.
that show ended filming after Hawkeye, so they would have had to do post production pretty quickly. So that's not coming. It's not coming out in September. Or when does What If end? Like October? Not coming out in October.
I don't know. Again, we don't know, but
Because why wouldn't they announce it before Hawkeye?
we're talking about the studio that hasn't released a goddamn trailer for a movie in 4 months. Like, let's not start questioning why they haven't done certain things.
I don't know.
So,
But then let me ask you this: Star
Okay.
Wars doing too much in 2022?
No, because they're spread out. There's, let's see, Kenobi, Andor,
Bad Batch,
Bad Batch.
Mando.
Well, we don't know 100% confirmed, but they
I'm
just
pretty
started
if it's
filming.
filming
So
this year, then yes.
yeah, probably like late or early, mid.
Mid to late, yeah.
Yeah,
Plus, Book
2022.
of Boba Fett will leak
Well,
into
yeah.
this year
So even
or
then, it's
2022.
they could probably space it out to do Book of Boba Fett start the year, spring be Kenobi,
Kenobi.
summer be Andor, and then winter or fall could be Bad Batch, and then winter could be Mandalorian. Like
Yep.
they can space it out. The only thing is,
You'll have content the whole year, but you wouldn't have to see a theatrical movie.
yeah, you would just have to stay at home. Then, not to mention, you could probably it'd probably be the thing of they probably are going to cut down Bad Batch episodes. If they, I'm
Maybe.
sorry, if they continue at 16 episodes, I'm going to lose it.
All right, we're
But
done. We're not talking about that.
no,
That's a Friday thing. I know what
I'm
you're
just
saying
saying.
though.
But yeah, just comparatively, the just Marvel is basically going for too much right now. It's too much.
I think I might lose the casual.
I think it is. It's too much to watch as a casual viewer. Like again, take this from someone like me who is getting into the comics right now, who is nerdy about all this stuff. I have MCU props. Just I'm creating an Iron Man suit. Like I'm a huge MC. I'm wearing a Marvel T-shirt right now. I'm invested in this stuff, but it's too much to handle right now. Like again, to just go off of the rails right now. We're in the multiverse right now. Then we're going to the non-multiverse. Then we're going to we're going Eternals. They're huge cosmic beings. Then we're going to back to normal people with Hawkeye. Then we're going back into the multiverse. Then we're going back to the multiverse again. Then we're coming out of the multiverse.
This
It's like,
Marvel, like what the
yeah,
hell?
that's too much right now. I think they should just chop Miss Marvel
Plus,
up for next year.
they're literally talking about how I read an article today from an insider. Saw a tweet about it, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
Secret Invasion with Nick Fury and Ben Mendelsohn filming right now
Mm-hmm.
with Captain Marvel, same city, same everything. So, am I gonna have to watch Secret Invasion to know what happens in the Marvels? But
Right.
I'm gonna have to, right?
Yeah,
I
because
mean, I'm
you're
gonna
losing
watch them,
you're
but like the
losing
average
people.
person,
You're gonna lose the casual Disney. Stop this.
you have so many stories you're setting up. You're gonna set up the whole stuff with the Marvels.
Yeah.
Uh, you did the Monica thing and WandaVision. You're gonna have a whole show for Kamala Khan, Secret Invasion with the Scrolls,
Mm-hmm.
and then into the Marvels.
Yeah.
With the Earthbound stuff, Falcon Winter Soldier, Hawkeye, uh, She Hulk, Moon Knight, and then you got multiverse stuff, which is insane. WandaVision, Loki, uh, Doctor Strange,
What if?
Spider Man, and then you got a whole cosmic side I haven't even mentioned. Thor, with Gore the God Butcher, Eternals. That's a lot of stuff I just named.
Mm-hmm. All coming up within the next what 2 or 3 years. We
Yes,
haven't even
here.
mentioned we
Oh,
haven't
Guardians,
even yeah
a
we haven't even
Fantastic Four.
mentioned we haven't mentioned Guardians, Fantastic Four, Blade. We like haven't even mentioned so many huge things. This is from right now to the end of 2022. Like no Guardians, no Ant-Man, no. It's too much. It's
Oh,
too
Wakanda
much.
stuff, a Wakanda show.
Wakanda forever. Like it's too much right now. We're gonna get
Crazy.
it's again, not to mention while all of this Marvel stuff is coming up, Star Wars is releasing at the same time too.
Okay, question. If
Okay.
Hawkeye and Boba Fett come out at the same time, which one does more numbers? Boba.
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 He's a more iconic character than Hawkeye. Sorry, big Hawkeye stand here, but
Boba.
Boba's
Plus, I
way
think
more
people will
iconic.
be marveled out.
Yeah. Honestly, and
Be
also
like,
it's like,
yo, give me that Star Wars stuff.
yeah. So I'm gonna say definitely for sure Boba would win the ratings war for that.
I will watch Boba first. I'll watch Hawkeye too, but like,
Oh, I'm watching Hawkeye first.
oh really?
Sorry, I'm a Hawkeye stan.
Oh Jesus. Okay. guys, that's gonna wrap up the show. We went for an hour and 45 minutes, a pretty long conversation.
Which, by
We
the way, this
covered,
was this was a Thor and Thor: The Dark World review, and we talked about it for 40 minutes. The rest was some.
yeah, we talked about it for like an hour or so, and then we covered what if and uh, the craziness that is the pandy and
and
what's it gonna do to movies and stuff. So we did have those as topics. I didn't put them in the title because that's not the main
yeah.
conversation. But
Also,
uh,
by the way, before we took this off, we also didn't even mention anything going on with DC. Also, with the
oh my
Flash
god,
and all that.
Batman, that crazy
All
year.
that. Too much.
Lord of the
Too
Rings,
much. Look, goodness.
this
God
is
damn it.
insane. Peacemaker's getting his own. Everybody's getting their own show, man.
Yeah. You get a show. You get a show.
You get
You
a
get a
show.
show.
Yeah. All right,
Gosh.
guys. We will be back on Friday to recap the finale of the Bad Batch, recap the whole season with
Yeah.
a very special guest.
Mm.
Ooh, you guys are gonna like this guest. Great person, I'll say. Fantastic creator.
Yes.
Can't wait for you guys to hear this person's thoughts. Uh, yeah. Alex, got anything before we sign off?
No. I was gonna say something quippy, but couldn't think of it.
No, no. Who ordered the calamari? Okay. Yeah. Let's.
You almost ripped
Uh,
my arm off.
yeah. Are you supposed to be the Queen of England? Sebastian Stan, we love you. And we
Yeah.
love you guys who
We
watch
are
Wars of the
Sebastian
Stars.
stands.
We want, yeah. We love you guys who watch Wars of the Stars. Just like we love Sebastian Stan's comedy.
Yes.
We will see you all Friday to talk a little bit about the Bad Batch, some Sabine news, Taika Waititi's movie news, and maybe we're gonna ramble about the Galactic Star Cruiser. Who knows? We haven't talked about it. So we will see you all then.